It's a bit apprehensive about sharing this information on YouTube because you never know what people can do with the information that you put out there. Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Kadz, and this is Wine with Kadz. Guys, I drink some tea because for the other day, I have to drink tea. I feel like it's a part of my New Year's resolution. So I'm gonna be healthy. So no, I'm drinking tea. Alright, so before I get into today's video, I wanted to give a huge shout out to a small business called TNS Runners. TNS Runners, not runners, runners. TNS Runners operates in Western Jamaica, so I think Montego Bay and up to Hopewell, I believe. They're a courier service, so they do delivery in and around Montego Bay, in and around St. James rather. So if you want KFC, Pizza Hut, whatever it is, or if you want a document to be dropped off, or you want something to be picked up from Knutsford, you can reach out to TNS Runners and they will be able to deliver it for you or pick it up for you. And they also have an app where you can order stuff through the app, and you can make payments online, so you don't have to have cash. All right, so that's TNS Runners. I will put their information somewhere here, their phone number, their flyer, their Instagram handle, so you can reach out to them whenever you want something. And the delivery fee is pretty reasonable. All right, now today's video. I promised you guys in the last week video, I told you guys that Kanye and I were gonna do a mukbang, but unfortunately that never worked out and Kanye had to go back to school. Big up yourself, Kanye. This is a year for you, so make us proud, okay? So Kanye had to go back to school, so unfortunately we didn't get to do that mukbang, but hopefully later on in the year we'll be able to do that, or I'll possibly just do it by myself. Which me think on the tide for just see me. I don't think I don't know if I love see just me, you know, but let's get into it. So, hold on, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. I wonder if it's cool enough. Okay, cool enough. It's fine. I was a little bit apprehensive about sharing this information on YouTube because you never know what people can do with the information that you put out there. So most of you, I did not announce it on the channel that I was working again. So I started working at this company in July of last year, recruiting position just the same, and then I lost my job in November. Now, why I'm gonna share this is a lesson that I've learned throughout this whole ordeal, and it's not to put the company that I worked for or anybody that I worked with on blast, but it's just to, you know, if you are going through any similar situation, or if it is that, you know, you're faced with certain things, we should try to always look at the lesson that we learn from this experience, rather than, you know, how to get back revenge or how to prove yourself to anybody, but what can be learned from this whole ordeal. But anyway guys, let's get into it. So I started working at this company in July of last year. It was a funny story how I even got the job, because I remember I said to my friend who dropped off my resume, I was like, I'm gonna get this job. And she was laughing and so forth. I said, yeah, my job. And I went and did the interview. I did pretty well. But one thing I always make sure was that I was transparent about whatever it is that I do. In the interview, I made it known that I do have a business. That's what I have been doing before I started working. I was painting and selling, and I do have a business. Granted, the business was registered after I started working there, but they were made aware that I do operate a business. However, in July when I started working, I did take a break from, well, at the time it was Kadz LLC, so I did take a break from painting. And if you notice, I wasn't even doing as much YouTube videos because I wanted to really put my all into the job. You know, it was a good paying job. I had a good team. I had a, you know, really friendly team, really helpful team. So I wanted to make sure that I was not going to be a weak link. I was out of the workforce for like 6 months, so I was like, you know, I want to go in and get all that I need to get. So I took a break from it. I wasn't taking any additional orders. I just needed to ensure that I completed the orders that I had, the existing orders. And that was the goal, you know, just to complete the orders that I had outstanding and to really and truly put myself into the job to get the job, because it was a lot different from what I was used to at the company that I worked before. Anyway, I noticed a few things, right? Like there was training for 1 month, and there is a policy, or I don't know if it's a policy, but they would always have meetings every single day, and every day you would need to report all the things that you have to do or have done for the day. So on my last day of training, you know, I was in the meeting, you know, basically, because my understanding of training is that you're just shadowing, you're listening, you're basically, you know, they do what you're supposed to do. Or listening and getting an understanding, better understanding of what is required of you. And when I started working there, was really high season. So some days we never really get to do no training, to be honest. I had to be on the phone. It's not necessarily doing interviews, but just be on the phones. On the last day of training, the manager called me and she said, so Kadeen, you know, what do you have to report? I'm like, I don't have anything to report. One thing with me, you know, I don't want to say I'm slightly feisty, but I can be blunt, okay? So she said, what do you have to report? And in my head, I said, what am I supposed to have to report? I'm on training. I'm gonna just come out of training. There isn't anything that is required of me. No, nothing was assigned to me yet for me to do any work on. That's in my head. So she called me one away and she's like, I don't like when you come on the meetings and you don't have anything to say. And I'm like, I'm really and truly just trying to get an understanding of what is required of me. You know, just observing everything else. I don't want to rush and then make a mess of things. You know, I want to know certain things. I want to see how certain things flow first before I just jump in and just do whatever. Anyway, so she's like, you seem distracted and yada, 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 yada. And then she said to me, do you have another job, Kadeen? So I said, no, I don't have another job. I do have a business that I operate, but I have decided to take a step back from that. And this is honestly what I said. I mean, I have no reason to tell no lie. So I told her that I took a step back from my business, you know, just to focus on, really and truly to focus on the job and get a better understanding of what is required of me, because I know that it's a lot and it's a lot different than what, as me explained to me, a lot different than what I'm used to. And she said, well, and she said, she told me that she was going to document me, and this is right after training. She said she's going to document me, and I needed to give a report to her 3 times for the day. I needed to report to her what I did 3 times for the day. So I was like, all right, God, I see what's happening here. I don't like to be micromanaged, but I realized that, all right, there are certain things that I feel learn to compromise more in the working world, you know, because for some reason, I don't want to say for some reason, I'd like to think that, I like when things are unfair. And this was from school days, you know, I would lobby for persons, certain things just seem really unfair for me. I say, you know what, let me go through and do what she asked me to do. So I was there sending my reports, and after about a week I realized that she not really said nothing to me, so I honestly stopped. Anyway, we started going on, and then I met this lady once. So on the day that I met her, I was wearing my shirt, my I Am Favored shirt from my clothing line, and they were going around the department, and you know, they were having like a team bonding thing. Everybody was sharing what happened to them through COVID and yada 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 yada. And one part of me said, Kadeen, don't share nothing. But everybody on my team, you know, knew what I did on the side and what's it not. So they were like, talk about it, Kadeen, talk about it, because I think about one specific person knew that I had gone through depression and all that kind of something. So she said, share it, man, share it now. You need to share your blessings and so forth. I'm like, all right, fine. So I was sitting directly in front of my manager, the manager at the time, and I was talking, and you know, I start get emotional because I say, hey, I go through depression, I go through, you know, suicidal thoughts. I'm at the, you know, the end, like we go over this hurdle, and I started getting emotional, and I look up and I say, I really don't want to cry, but this is what happened for me, and you know, I started my clothing line, and I have my business, and God has been good, and blah, blah, blah. And the lady just looked at me from top to bottom, and then she was like, oh, well, I just bought a new car. And I'm like, all right, I guess I should not have shared that. Anyway, about some time after that, my probation ended, and you know, we have to go through the whole evaluation process. So she said to me, I was, for 2 of my classes, I did not meet the target. 2? Yes, I didn't meet the target for 2 of my, I didn't meet the target twice. So she gave me some recommendations and all that kind of stuff. So I said, okay, fine. I said to her, she asked me, how long do my interviews take? And I said, well, with the whole heap of processes that we need to do, my interviews sometimes take up to 30 minutes, sometimes 45. I remember one time in a interview with 1 hour, because sometimes people have long resumes, and if you're a recruiter, you have to go through and, you know, fill in the gaps to say, you know, what were you doing there? You don't want to know, say the person went in a prison for 3 months and they never disclose that, you know. So we go through all of that. And she's like, no, your interviews are too long. That is why you're not that's why you're not, you know, reaching out to as many persons as you should. So she gave me some little tips, and I said, all right, cool. She said to me that I needed to do at least 15 interviews per day. So I started going around in the department and I say, how many, I started going to everybody and say, how many interviews per day? Like, what's the most interviews you do per day? And they're like 7, most 10. I mean, I said, so why am I required to do 15? And I said, 15? I said, yes, I'm being required to do 15 interviews per day. I mean, I said, I don't know if that's possible, because sometimes you don't know who you're going, you don't know what the person is going to say. You don't know where you're going to meet upon. And sometimes it's when you get clients or candidates comfortable, that is when you get the truth out of them. You don't just want to rush them, you understand? So, because some of the times when you rush them and you rush through the process, then get the job, and then 2 days after they get the job, they say, you know what, peace out, this is enough for me. Whilst if you had listened to them and take a time off to get to understand what they must say, you'd realize the account that you're putting them on, or you'd be able to suggest a better department for them. So everybody said, no, man, I'm not do 15 interviews per day. I'm like, well, I'm being required to do 15 interviews per day. So I started to feel like I was being picked on. Anyway, she said to me that she's going to put me on a PIR. So in a month, I am going to be, reevaluated. So basically my probation was extended. She said to me, honestly, she said, you're a good staff. I don't get any complaints about you. It's just that I want to know that you're turning over your documents, or the candidates' documents to HR quicker, or on the day off, and I want you to meet your targets sooner. And I said, all right, cool. Master God, when the month ended now, she called me and she said, you haven't met your targets. And I said to her, well, they've come up with some new system in the department. And I'm like, all right, we'll work with it, I'll go through. And she said to me, you're not making your targets, and you're not. Oh, another thing was that my contract said you are required to work any 5 days of the week, which means if they call you to work on a Saturday or a Sunday, you may be required to work. However, if I work Monday through to Friday, should I come in on a Saturday or a Sunday, it shouldn't be mandatory. So she was asking me, like the Thursday, I think it was a Thursday, and she said, how many people are coming Saturday? So I never answer, because I say, I have things to do this Saturday. So she called me one away, and she said, you have your class, your targets to meet, and you're not coming in on Saturday. And I said to her, well, I am not able to come in this Saturday because so and so and so, and I did say to you I can come in on Sunday. She was like, well, why is it I can't come in on a Saturday? And I said, but I do have a business, so I asked you about this. I said, so you lied to me? So I said, no, I didn't lie to you. I asked you if you had a job. So I said, I do not have a job. I have a business. I do not have another job. I have a business. Isn't it the same thing? Someone said, no, it's not the same thing. Business is a business, a job is a job. And I if I have clients needs to be met, and if people pay me their money, I'm going to have to. You see, my problem is the last minute thing. If you're going to ask me to work on the weekend, don't ask me Friday or Thursday. Ask me like Monday, can you come in on the weekend? I'm seeing where, based on the projection, I'm seeing where we may not meet the target by XYZ. So we may need you to come in on the weekend. No problem. But if you ask me on Thursday, when I've already made plans from Monday or Tuesday or the Sunday, then we can't go change up on the clients then. You understand? And plus, I also gave an alternative, which shouldn't have been an issue which I thought should not have been an issue. Because if you say, come in Saturday, and I said, no, I can't come in on Saturday. And then she said to me, so can you come in on Sunday? And I said, yeah, sure, I can come in on Sunday. That's an alternative. It shouldn't be an issue. So she started say, So this business that is not a job, is it that these clients are more important than the company's clients? And I said, I'm not gonna answer that. I can't answer that. You can't answer to this day. Like, one is not more important than the other. You know, I have a job and that's helping me to pay my bills, and I also have a business that is also helping me to take care of things that I need to take care of. I'm pursue my passion, and I believe that people should, if they can, pursue their passions. Anyway, no, so before that conversation happened, I called her the night before and I explained to her, like, you know, I said, I feel like it seems as though I'm falling behind, but this is the case. And we spent about 16 minutes on the phone, and we talk and we talk and we tell her. And she had said to me in the interview that if you have any issues, don't be afraid to call me. My door is always open, feel free to call me and whatnot. So I did do that, you know. I called her and she said, okay, Kadeen, I'm going to address these issues in the meeting tomorrow. I'm glad you brought them up because these things shouldn't be happening, yada 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 yada. Also don't call fat. Those issues were not brought up. Over the weekend, no, it was a Sunday, so I did what I had to do on the Saturday. I came in on the Sunday, and it was just 3 of us working the Sunday. When I got in, I think this is what, you know, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because when I got in, I know it was raining, and about 6 people showed up for the interview. So we said, all right, we're going to reschedule everybody to come in on the Monday because we want to meet the targets, yada yada yada. So while I was there, she sent me a message on WhatsApp. No good morning, no good afternoon, no hi, hello. It's just a screenshot of something and said, please print this for the candidate. So I said to her, good afternoon, so and so. Will do. And then she said to me, I will be sending, still no good afternoon, still no greeting. And then she said to me, I will be sending the candidates documents via this forum. So I take about 15 minutes and I said, I took about 15 minutes and I was like, yeah, this not gonna sit well with me. So I responded to her. I said, please do not send the candidates documents to my personal phone. Thank you. She said, this is noted. And then she deleted all of the message them. No, she said an email was sent to you. That time something went wrong with my email. So when I finally got into the email, I saw it, and then she deleted all the messages that she sent. So the moment she deleted all the messages, I'm like, all right, something is going to go down. This was a Sunday. I said, something not gonna go down, something not gonna go down, something not gonna go down. I'm not gonna be prepared for it. No, why? It was raining heavily that week. I remember clearly. This was in early November. And rain when I tear down the whole bay. You understand? When the man say I'm losing 80,000 US in that same week, that same weekend. At the Sunday now, I sent her the reports for the rest of the day and told her how many people showed up, how many people had to reschedule, how many people were recommended for second interviews, and me leave. Monday morning I come in and I see one email. She said, please report to HR to see so and so and so at this time. So I'm like, okay, I said, good morning. I was like, good morning, this is noted, have a wonderful rest of the day. I said, have a blessed day. Come and know something up. And I was like, have a blessed day. I know something up. So I said to her, sure, no problem. I'm gonna hear from her for the whole rest of the day. And then I went to the meeting. When I went to the meeting, which was about 3 o'clock, she was like, do you know why you're here? I said, Miss, honestly, I don't know why I'm there, you know, because she said an escalation was reported to me, and, you know, they have to do what they have to do, protocols. So I said, okay. She asked me to write a report. So I said, I don't even know what I'm writing a report on because I don't know why I'm here. So she gave me the paper and said, just write that you have nothing to report in. Anyway, I decided that I was going to write something because I started to realize, okay, what's happening? And then after I wrote the report, she said, I brought it to her and she said to me, effective immediately, you're going to go on leave of absence until your hearing. Now I've worked in HR since 2018. So I'm gonna say here, I've never been in a hearing. Nobody never cared about a disciplinary hearing because I'm a good person. I'm a good worker, okay? I give 100%, and since lately I'm like, you know what? Maybe not 100. Maybe you can get 85, and then you can keep the next 15 for yourself, you know? But anyway, she said, turn in your badge, turn in the company's stuff, and then, you know, you have to leave the property until your hearing on Wednesday. So this was on Monday. So on Wednesday I'm like, all right, cool. Turn in my badge, me leave my laptop, And then I took up my stuff and I left. I just bounced, you know. And I remember saying to my coworkers, "See you in no, I said Merry Christmas and Happy New Year when it comes." And they were like, "Whoa!" I said, "No, worry yourself. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year when it comes." So I went to the meeting on Wednesday, and in all honesty, the only thing, like most of what they were talking about in the meeting was that I'm not able to go above and beyond because I have a business that is not allowing me to work on weekends. And she said if she asks me 12 times to come on weekends, 10 of the 12 times I'm not available. I mean, I said, first of all, I haven't been even working here 12 weeks. Oh, you should reach this. And plus, on every weekend she asks to come in on weekends, and there have been weekends when I've worked Saturday and Sunday. And, you know, them is something that being mentioned. So after the meeting, I was sent back home on another leave for absence. So like, they said they would call me by the end of the week. It ended up being 2 whole weeks that I spent at home, and then they called me back. And when they called me back, they let me know that the decision was that, you know, they will not continue the relationship with me, you know. So basically I was terminated because, and so I wasn't unsuccessful probation. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what was said.